Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm really pleased to see you again today for this last session of the Art and Game World Tour in Latin and South America. I'm Isabelle Arvers. I'm an art and game curator. I've been curating art and games events for 20 years. And to celebrate last year, I decided to embark in this tour in order to be able to tell another story of art and video games, and also to try to focus on female, feminist, queer, and decolonial practices. Today, yes, we have a lot of speakers. I'm super happy to welcome you today. And we will start shortly. I invite Nawel from Shittygames to start.
Hi, we are Shittygames. We are a small Argentinian studio that makes video games about Argentinian political reality with a sense of dark humor and satirical. We were just students when we were making games about poop, that's our name, when we saw a video that I'm going to show you. This is a manifestation in Argentina where the cops faked an accident, as you can see. Look at this cop. How he jumped to the car and faked the accident. It was kind of funny, but at the same time we get very angry with this. So we decided to make a satirical game with some political comments of this situation. As you can see, a lot of cops, a guy in his car who was accidentally crashed a police officer. Everybody started to hit him in the road. It was a big news in Argentina. Everybody was doing memes. So we made a game called Gendarmer. So I hope you can see this. This is our first game that became viral. So it was shown in the news. We were too young and too inexperienced with this when this game came out, and then you have to play this to play this game. You have to throw police officers to cars to fake accidents. I'm gonna show you some gameplay. Here you can see the police to the car, and then everybody hits.
Then the police crashed and destroyed the car that the gendarme fake crashed it.
We became very famous for this game, and so we started to make games about news in Argentina, and we have our, ¿cómo se diría? Well, our mark is that we make games very quick. So this happened, and 2 days later there was a video game about this. And then we started making more games about news in Argentina, because Argentina is a country where everything can happen. 1 month it's a cop hitting a car and faking an accident, and the other month it's a thief trying to steal a tourist with a GoPro camera, and we are going to show some of our games. We made more than 30 games in our lifetime. So here's a little demo. I hope. We make games about politicians, about the cops, about society, about famous people, everything that make us laugh and make us angry is maybe probably a good game for Shittygames.
Against the church.
You can see there's a lot of variety of games. We have too little time to explain them all, but we wanted to show you some of our works. With the need to make fast games, we don't have many time, so we create games based on original NES games or Sega games with pixel art aesthetics. Most of the time, some of the sprites and graphics are stolen from other games, but
with little modifications.
yeah,
A little.
contributions. So as you can see, we created many games about anything you can think that happened in Argentina. And these are a few of them. Well, so that's a showcase of our work. We wanted to talk about our latest project, but the way we work, there's no latest project. We are waiting to something to happen to make a fast, funny game and make fun of people we hate.
Años de video game like a language, because it's not ever games about fantasy and other things. The video games is a tool to communicate what we hunger or this.
Well, that's a bit of Shittygames. From Argentina. If you want to see or play our games or maybe understand our games, you can go to our website and see them all and play them free. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My question was, what is the last one? But we will wait for the next 8. Okay. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Dario Georges from tumbagames, also from Argentina.
Hello, Isabelle.
How are Hello.
You? Well, I'm part of tumbagames along with Agustin Pontura and Ignacio Rull. I will introduce today 2 of our games. I will share screen now. I want to talk about Perraforce. Oh, let me down the volume. Perraforce is a 4-player beat-em-up party game in the tradition of Double Dragon, Final Fight, Renegade, which we mounted in a recycled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet, and we take it to bars and art galleries and events. The other one is Punga Raid, which is a mobile side-scrolling survival runner available in Google Play. Both games have the signature of tumbagames, which means that they are some form of interactive comedy. I mean, they have a strong humorous component with a marked social and political content and with expressive but not very complex art style. As an art director, I use a mix of retro and modern pixel art techniques, photo animation, motion graphics, vectorial illustration, and I mix them in a way that they are very expressive but fast to produce. About the topics we deal with, I should say that we mock the paranoias of conservative people and use them as the subject for our games. In the case of Perraforce, which is the one we are seeing right now, we took the far right conceptualization of feminism and feminists to create a badass all-girl gang the players can control. And then we put a lot of enemies which we created, taking countless stories from our sisters, girlfriends, and female co-workers and friends about different episodes in their lives where men abuse power and authority over them. This way we could synthesize a group of characters that represent all the basic stereotypes of patriarchy, let's say. The other game, well, we play tested this game very much with friends and with mostly with women, and we took it to a bar and left the arcade there, where in the bar where we met you, Isabelle, here in Buenos Aires, and we could see we were very glad to find that that this game worked as a catharsis tool for the players. Like we found out that they, at least girls, were very passionate about playing the game, and they found the jokes we put in the gameplay and in the cutscenes funny. The other game is Punga Raid, which I will show right now. Well, Punga Raid is based on the establishment hypocritical view of the crime. I mean, the establishment always focuses in the little street thieves, but they ignore the institutionalized robbery perpetrated by large corporations. So we took the idea of this low class thief the establishment is always focusing on, and we took it. We made this kawaii type of character which you control, and you have to run through the streets of a city which is clearly based in Buenos Aires, but it resembles any Latin American city, and you have to rob as much people as possible, and well, the one who robbed the most is the winner of the game. This is a survival game, so and it's a mobile game, so well, anyone can download it and participate and try to be the top thief of each neighborhood. Well, these are the games we selected to present to you, so I invite you to play them. You can download Punga Raid from Google Play, or you can enter tumbagames.com.ar and have a look to the rest of our games.
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you very much, Dario. And now I would like to introduce you to Julian Palacios, who just got an award yesterday at the Mace. Congratulations, and
thank you.
I'll let you present your project.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Julian. I'm a developer from Milan. I was born in Milan from Argentinian mother and Uruguayan father. So I have a family all over the world. So I'm developing this first-person game, which is a journey, an atmospheric journey through dreams, memories, and fantasies. So yeah, having all these different backgrounds, my focus is on using 3D space as a way to explore places I remember and places I dream, and how how memory and dreams blend together. And how 3D space can be a tool for us to investigate our personal spaces and visions. So Promesa, which is the game I'm working on right now, was born after a conversation I had with my grandfather, and we live in deep, faraway countries, so it's a game in which I try to represent the pictures and the dreams and the images we share in our identity. So I will I will share my screen so to show you a trailer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so, oops. Okay, so a lot of places, a lot of the environments are based on Argentinian and Italian urban architectures, and it's mainly a work about spaces and places. Yeah. So thanks for having me, Isabelle.
Thank you very much for sharing your memories and some places you haven't visited, right?
Yeah, I mean, not all the places are real, and there are places which are just, evocative. So, for example, the big structure, like the big circular structure, is a place which doesn't exist anymore, and it was the Hotel de Inmigrantes in Buenos Aires at the beginning of the 20th century. So there's only a small amount of pictures of that building, and I imagined it, I recreated it with my fantasy. So yeah, there's a little bit of everything.
Thank you very much again, and congratulations again.
Oh, thank you very much.
We're gonna stay in Argentina, and I would like to invite Mateo Amaral to on stage now, and I let you introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Mateo. I'm not a video game maker exactly, but I use a lot of the techniques and the media that are involved in video games. I work with a lot of different formats, from virtual reality games to video installations and audiovisual performances. So I wanted to talk to you about a new tool that we are developing with my brother that that come from the need or the problem that is to work with so many different media. I usually my pipeline in the work is maybe I start building 3D objects and 3D animations, and then I have to render it and export it to a program, effects program like After Effects or any program. Then I render again and export to edition program, and then if again render. So it's very boring, very boring, very tedious and like bureaucratic. A lot of render time, sometimes weeks of render time. So I was wondering if there is some way to avoid all that render time and work in a more musical way. I work with visuals and with music. And in music, when you play instruments, you are like in the moment jamming and improvising, and that is very hard to do with visuals. Not with visuals, but if you are building 3D objects and all that stuff. So we started to work this system with my brother that use Ableton Live and Unity 3D to unify that different tools. So we use Ableton Live as a sequencer that using OSC signals. OSC is like a MIDI signal that sends information to Unity to control a lot of different parameters like animation on objects and simulation, whatever. And in this way, I have all in one on the same system. I want to show you a little piece that I made recently with that system. I'm going to share my screen. Maybe it's not the best way to see it here because here we can see that the audio is controlling a lot of different stuff, like the simulation, different parameters of the simulations and the lights and the animations. And everything was made in real time. So it's a more fun way to compose audiovisuals. Okay, we have little time, so you can see it in my web page if you want. But mainly it's a more fun and more intuitive way to compose audiovisual compositions. And that's all.
Could we say, Mateo, that it's like doing some VJing performance, but instead of playing with video, you are playing with 3D objects in a game space?
Yes, but in some ways a lot more complex, at least in the VJ programs that I used previously, because I can put a lot of different media, from video to real-time simulations and a lot of stuff, different stuff that maybe in a normal VJ software is too hard to make all that stuff work together. You know, and also I'm manipulating the sound also, not only the visuals but the sound. And yeah, that.
Yeah, I would love to be able to perform with this tool. It's so great. Thank you very much, Mateo.
Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Daniela Fernandez to present her game. Welcome, Daniela. Dani.
Hi. Hi, I will share the screen. So this is my project ITA. I am sound and image designer and an illustrator. And this is me. I was born in Buenos Aires, but my mother family is from Chaco, a province in the north of Argentina, home to several indigenous communities. And during the last year of the university, I decided to investigate the story of my family and my family tree, and that's when my project ITA began. This is the Chaco, and this is one map, and this is the house of my great grandmother Benigna. My mom born here. I was born here. This is my family. This is my great grandmother. She was born in a family Guarani. When I was young, I used to travel, visit my grandfathers and my grandmother, and she always told me stories about the Guarani people, legends, and her customs. This is it's an illustration of my grandmother, Maxi. She's a tell a story. She always tells me stories about the Chaco War, the Guarani legends, and all of them will include magical elements. And she always does this at siesta time and the nap. And so I decided to gather all that knowledge about the customs and the culture from the littoral and to share them in a video game, ITA. In this way, these veins of thought legends will live in a new medium and they will not be forgotten. This is the ITA. This is the Shasisha Dere. Well, the story the game starts when the Shasisha Dere, a magical being of the culture Guarani, he kidnapped children that refuse to take a nap or siesta after lunch, and he takes her to the realm of the eternal night, which is inhabited by all the beings of the legends of the littoral, inherited from the Guarani culture. ITA is a 2D platformer video game when this girl, a young girl, comes across a magical being called Shasisha Tere. And the other is the Bombero. Another character of the game is a little man. The idea is in the game, Ida must find her way home through the portal of dreams And to get there, she will have to escape from the beings of the night. And this is a scene. And the beings of the night want to steal her spiritual light. Along the game, the player will have to deal with the beings that will in the eternal night, and each one have its own story and legend. And as she tries to find her way back home, so Ita will find herself on the journey to become a shaman. This game is set in environments typical of the humid Chaco, with native vegetation and animals. It will have to travel all over the realm of eternal night, through grasslands, river, forests, marshlands, farm lakes, and in order to save herself from being trapped there forever. Well, this is another scene of the game. Thanks for listening and sharing me with you my project and a part of my story.
Thank you, Dani. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Gabi Pella to present Manzana Misteriosa.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a tough one if you're not a Spanish speaker to pronounce. So I'm here to present the game I'm developing along with friends. It's called Manzana Misteriosa. I will start sharing screen because I have a gameplay video to share with you while I speak. Manzana Misteriosa tells the story of Nina. She's a girl that gets lost inside the Parque Chas neighborhood. And so as she searches her way out, she embarks in a journey of bizarre situations that occur around this place. She starts interacting with the neighbors and their strange requests at times. And the way the player chooses to continue or to help or not the neighbors they may encounter affects the course of the game. So this game is inspired in the urban legends around this peculiar neighborhood, Parque Chas, which is a real neighborhood in Buenos Aires. So this place has a maze structure that gets people confused, and so people, when they enter this neighborhood, they get lost or disoriented very easily. So the scenery of the game consists on 4 blocks that make up the square, the manzana of this neighborhood. And so the way the player, the passage or connection between each block, it's not where you expect it to be. So the bizarre and fun part is how the player gets to access and go through the next block to get out of that neighborhood. About the art style for the game, it's very distinctive. We mainly chose this color palette, blues, purple, and pink, because it helps us set an ambiguity about which time is it. You don't know if it's sunrise or sunset. And so this feeling is something that we want the player to experience throughout the game. Talking about experiences of the player during the game, our main goal is to have them experience the warm heart and yet sparkly personalities of its neighbors. So basically we want to resemble the kindness that places like this one still express, no matter how cosmopolitan the city has become. So that's the core of the game is just what you can experience in this neighborhood that can resemble any other traditional or old neighborhood. So it's an adventure game. It's not a point and click. You can play it with your keyboard, mouse and keyboard, or joystick. It's still in development though. That feature, the joystick, is still also on development. So I think that's mainly it on my side. We're still, we're still developing it. We hope to finish it soon, but we're getting there. So this is near the end of the gameplay. So if only I just can stop sharing and continue. Okay.
Thank you very much, Gabi. And I would like to wish you a very, very good happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for joining me on my celebratory birth anniversary.
So happy birthday. And follow, I would like to go now in Brazil and welcome very warmly Taina Felix.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited today. And thank you, Isabelle. Thank you, everybody. Let's go. Okay. So, I'm Taina Felix, and I'm producer at a Game Art Studio from São Paulo, Brazil. And I work with Jaderson Souza, my partner in Game Art. He's game designer in our games. Since 2010, we at Game Art have worked with cultural and social activities with video games. In the last 4 years, we have developed 2 games. The New California, this game, and the Amore, our second game. In both, we approach the creation process under the colonial vision, alien to the Black and popular protagonist. So our work is based on the idea make digital games with people. It's so important, with people, not about people, but with people. We develop stories that start from a decolonial vision, which has hold in local stories and not necessarily in epic stories. We are used to finding games. National Black literature has the starting point in our first game, The New California, for example. We are not focused on developing with the last and the best technology, but one that can tell our stories well. Our purpose is to multiply the voices of people from the most varied ethnics and cultures group from video games. As Black developers in Brazil, we want to be more than players. We want to be the producers of the game that not yet been created. Is based on the invisible stories. And The first game, the New California, is the game based on a Brazilian tale of the Black writer called Lima Barreto. It's a story-driven action adventure game. It has 11 levels. It's a game in a pixel art. We develop it with an engine RPG Maker. And soundtrack in the New California also honors name of Brazilian musicians such as Chiquinha Gonzaga and Ernesto Nazaré. Our second game is Amora. Amora is a pocket game about love, about a vampire who wants to share her love to a human. However, being another space, Amora always gets in the way. Under the give love, she transforms your dear passion in another vampire. It's a little bit game about love and 10 minutes of gameplay. Both the game in a Steam platform, and also Pandemic is the last one game, will be our next, but still in development. It brings an invisible story about mental health of the peripheral medic during of the pandemic situation in Brazil. Being here today is an important for us, for me and Jaderson, to make a right between friends all over the world. You, persons who have the same vision about creation, the diversity vision, friends of Latin America, African continent, and all global sound. And we want to meet you. And here and in other places, and after the pandemic, let's go bind a network with our studios, games, and people. Well, it's just, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Isabelle, and let's go.
Thank you so much, Taina. And yeah, I love what you just said. I also do believe that we have to create new networks and new meetings, and yeah, let's do that. Oh, so happy. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce you to Marcos Silva from Sue the Real, also a game studio in São Paulo.
Amazing. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Marcos Silva. I'm from Brazil, São Paulo. I'm a game developer, and I'm very cool with Taina and Jaderson. The gaming art studio inspired us a lot to make games about Afro-Brazilian experience. And today I will gonna show some of our games. Let's try something. Okay, maybe we can charge. We are the Real. We studio games spoken in Afro-Brazilian experience. I'm from Brazil, the borderlands of São Paulo. And we started to make games because we saw an enhancement of Black culture. We didn't saw the Black culture present in video games. And after that, we started to study more about these questions and start developing games focused on Afro-Brazilian narratives and promoting another points of the stories. Our first game was the Angola Jungle, and talk about the slavery system in Brazil, and ancestry, talk about the Africa in Brazil present. And after that, we start developing the game about beatbox, and we we're so happy to sell and to connect people with music because we love music and we love video games. And we start, I studied music. When connected the culture, the hip hop culture is connecting every in so many places in the world. And when you talk, for example, the breakdance, in the same time I'm talking the graffiti and parkour, and this is very connected. And one between is a game talk about beatbox and talk about the black culture and these expressions. But the game is like a versus 2D. You choose one person, and after that you can create one sequence of beatbox and send to another player. The player can need to repeat this sequence, and this remember like a Pong and genius toys. And we so happy because we talk about a lot diversity in our games is very important to us, and talk a lot borderlands peripheral peoples. Yes.
And please say my best to Raquel.
Yes.
I hope you're both doing great. Thank you very much, Marcos. And now let's go to Mexico City. And I would like to introduce you to Galamot.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I hope you guys can hear me well now. But okay, I'm just gonna play the video in the background. And share screen. Okay. Well, my name is Adrian, also known as Galamot, and I'm the lead artist and sometimes designer in our studio. It's called Dynamic Media Triad. We're based in Mexico City, and we're a core team of 3 people, but we oftenly collaborate with other people. And our first game was released in November of 2019. It's a game called Broken Reality, which I'll play some footage in the back. So yeah, basically the idea of this game is it's like a kind of a parody of the internet. So we mostly got inspired by internet communities and like internet culture in general through a lens of a particular subculture in the internet known as vaporwave, which we took as kind of the base to make this world. And it has like many different themes around the game. But the basic mechanic is you explore the world and you kind of you're a user in search of likes. So the more likes you get, the more doors it open. So it's kind of like a metaphor for like social capital, and like the way likes have become like part of the economy as a whole. And it's more actually in the game you can have a credit card and you can like sort of buy things, but money doesn't really mean anything. It's more like only the likes. So it's like a never-ending spiral of just getting likes to get to other parts of the game, and along the way you meet like all these wacky characters, and then you keep exploring. we make reference to a ton and tons of like media and stuff. And what else? Well, yeah. The undertone, I guess, about the whole game, it's like a sort of a capitalism critique through a contemporary lens of like digital culture in general. We didn't try to focus in this case particularly in something that it's unique to Latin America, I guess, but there's definitely a lot of elements around there that definitely could just come from a place like Mexico. And yeah, you know, overall it's more like kind of a post-nihilistic and existentialist tale about roaming through the internet and like what does it mean in this day age to be like a human on the internet, interacting with people and searching for this like connection with other people, and how people isolate themselves in a vacuum in the internet era, even if we're more connected than ever, right? So the game has been like well received. If you guys want to check it out, you can check it out on Steam in the Steam page, and also at the we're currently working on another game which I'll show you to you very quickly. But for our current game, we took like more an arcade kind of a approach to the game. This is more likely like a lighthearted kind of tone around like a kind of Star Fox-like game or something. But we put a lot of undertones in the game, like it's a search of these team of dogs in space that are fighting against a corporate overlord. That's kind of a similar thing to Jeff Bezos or something like that. And you know that he took all of the resources of the galaxy, so he's draining the resources from other planets in order to maintain like the status quo or something. But it's all wrapped up in like a more family-friendly type of game. And yeah, we'll be releasing it sometime next year. If you want to follow us on Twitter or something, we are Dynamic Media Triad, also known as DM Triad for short. And yeah, I think that we pretty much be it.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Galamot. We have one question from the audience, and thank you, everybody. We had one question from the audience from Rachel Uwa. She would like to know, as Paco Alvarez, what are the particular struggles in Latin or South America to make games? And what are the communities like, and what is missing and why? Tough. So who wants to answer is welcome. It's a question for everyone.
Well, the lack of money is like a classic constant in this place. I mean, if you want to make indie games like your art games, it's okay. You find the time, you go ahead, you learn how to do it, and you do it. If you are willing to make a mainstream game, that's a different scenario where only the big companies may make it to the end.
Yeah, I guess the toughest part is like getting people to know the game, like the distribution and publishing side is the hardest for indie developers, because as Dario said, big companies already have the resources and channels to go there and distribute and have people play the games, but the rest, if you're indie, then you're kind of lost there. That's the toughest part.
But would you say it's specific to Latin and South America, or?
Yeah, I think it is, because, well, you have to also make games in English, because otherwise publishers won't like to publish your game, because the big market is in English. So you have to deal with that for the most part in Latin America. So while making games that talk about our culture, it's sad to see the game just go in English, and you know that there's going to be people that speak Spanish or any other language, like if you want to make a game in Guarani or in Portuguese, you have to see people that perhaps know that language play it in English, because that's how the game gets shipped. Perhaps, well, I think at least that's a concern of mine. I don't know if many other developers share that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone wants to.
Yeah, like I guess it's mostly the same case for any other country in Latin America. You know, it's like looking for a publisher or getting funded by somebody, and also getting your product to get known. At least, like in this case, we're all like developers that are more in the niche of like art games and things, which makes it even harder, because you know you it's not like that appealing maybe to the masses. But you know, I think it's very important to people to keep developing things so people can see new types of contents and new sides of the story of all of these art projects.
About the communities, from what I have seen, and I didn't stay very long in each country I passed in, so it's for sure a superficial vision, but I saw a big influence of the bootleg culture. This, I haven't seen it, let's say in Asia, or no, not in Africa as well. Would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, totally. And as well as these guys from Shittygames can confirm. and any person who grew up in Latin America without the resources to, or even the distribution of official products of video games, we all grew up surrounded by bootleg games and pirated copies. That became kind of part of the culture of how we consume it. And it probably, if it wasn't for piracy, most of us wouldn't be developing games these days.
This is a NES game, family game from our youth. Look at
Nice.
Come on.
We love bootleg. You see,
Nice.
nothing. I don't know what game is it. So, Mari.
It's handcrafted.
Talking about community, we believe it's very important to create communities, even small communities from developers with alike tastes. For example, here in Buenos Aires, with Dario and a few friends, we have an arcade community. So
very strong, yes.
There are many developers who has arcade games, and we go to parties and museums,
galleries, bars.
We bought a school bus and fill it with all our arcades, 12 arcade games from indie Argentinian developers, and we went on a tour in Argentina.
Traveling around the region.
That's what I wanted to mention. Oh, pardon, sorry. Please.
There's a documentary going on. It's called Video Game on Wheels. videojuegos sobre ruedas, and talks about the trip or a small community that begins with an arcade, the arcade of a friend that we all worship. So we started to create our own arcades. And this was a very little community that now is growing and expanding and having its own place. And that's, I believe it's important to grow, even if you are not making money, even if you have to do another job, to keep your hobby, your passion, and to join another with the same feelings about making games.
Even if the community says you offend the industry, you have to make games. Don't doubt about it.
That will be the conclusion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isabelle. Thank you, everybody.
And just to say that I couldn't invite everybody I wanted, but what you just said reminded me to Pedro Paiva's work also in Brazil, who is also bringing arcades in different kind of events and with a very anarchist attitude. Really, thank you so much. I wish we will collaborate more and more together very soon. And Amaze, thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Zoraida. Thank you, Thornton. Thank you very much. I was happy to be again with you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for opportunity.
Thank you.
I feel emotional now.